Response video to Fred. Yeah, using a really buggy camera, so I'll have to check now and then, I think. But let's just try it, and we'll see what happens. So, maybe. Alright, okay, virtual reality. Yeah, I think if you give it some thought, just a little bit, use your imagination and say, okay, how could you make this thing make sense? You can make it make sense. I mean, just because you're already here, you already have the built-in desire and want, so then it can make sense. Now the question again would be, let's say you had a virtual reality, but you had to create the conditioning in a new person to play the game. Well, the first thing you have to build into them is this desire mechanism, and we kind of know that you have to be in the desert a while. That's the desert that makes the oasis an oasis, and so that's the catch. Could you ethically impose the negative perceptions, the degraded ego that needs uplifting, that's going to find victory or satisfaction in virtual reality, in any kind of life even. And so it's even if that's part of this whole life thing, is that people don't think about it, but yeah, they don't think about it is the bottom line. But yeah, that's what this whole growing up is. All these knocks you get, and they just one at a time turn you into somebody who is going to need and needs sometimes desperately, eventually, after many years of it. You're going to be really hungry. That's the way to put it. But yeah, you can certainly you can certainly think about the best days of your life, and you say, well, I could do that a few million times. Just rearrange let's take the 3 best 3-hour spans, and just say, okay, let's just mix those up, and arrange them into different orders, and maybe just change it a little bit here, and change it a little there, and a little subtle change there. And yeah, I could be perfectly happy doing that over and over. And of course there'd have to be some suspension of reality, in the sense that, yeah, give me a little bit of forget me juice. And so yeah, I don't remember that I already did it. And yeah, you can do that. But again, if you're going to be really smart about it, you're going to say, why would I bother? But I'm just saying, if somebody's holding a bag of potato chips in front of me, and they're going to say, it's no harm, there's no harm, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, I've already got the hunger, so I'm going to say, like, even if I'm on my way out, even if I'm on my way out the door, I might stop to have a bag of potato chips. It's harmless, but that's the question, is it harmless? In a perfect world, I'd say yes it is, but humans don't do things perfectly. So that ain't gonna work. Alright, you brought up meditation. This subject sort of bugs me in a lot of ways. So everybody just takes these Buddhist guys, their word for it. I got nirvana. Yeah. Here's my statement from the Buddha saying so. I got a degree at whatever. Catch Yourself on Fire University. Who says so? Because Buddha says so? Because some guy says so? Because somebody wrote it in a book and said, I know what it is to be above it all? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this could be just the biggest of frauds, right? I mean, all Buddhists really could be doing, all these meditators, is controlling their reflexes. So they've turned themselves into a bug who doesn't react. I mean, if I do it, if I just practice not reflexively reacting, bashing all my reflexes and saying, learn how not to react. Learn how not to react. Like them soldiers in front of Buckingham Palace or something, just learn how to take the bullshit and hear the funny jokes and all the other crap, and just learn how to just do your little, keep your eyes forward and your brain off. I mean, are they meditating? In a way they are, but we know that the meditation is hidden by discipline, and that all they're really doing is just saying, okay, me and my brain are going to go over here, and we're just going to let the funny people do the funny people thing. So yeah, I'm just saying, it's all talk as far as I'm concerned. and just going by the evidence of their lifestyle. They don't seem to be above it. They seem to be expecting people to brush off their sidewalks for them and polish their gold Buddhas, and they really don't seem very Buddha to me. They don't seem kind of actualized. They seem kind of fucking neurotic as hell. They seem pretty needy, control freaky. Yeah. So yeah, I just don't get. I'm just going to argue that I don't. That's like the Christian heaven. Until somebody explains to me exactly what I'm going to do there, that's going to be so much fucking fun. I'm not taking anybody's word for it. I mean, it doesn't sound very good to me. Shaking Jesus. Wait 7 billion years on Jesus' handshaking line. No, I don't really want to do that. And you just imagine the inane conversation. Everybody with their kids. Oh, God. Ugh. But fortunately, it's not of this earth, and there is no kids, right? No wife, no husbands, no. I mean, the whole thing, they never explained it. I don't know how they even got away with that. You're going to have eternal life. Yeah, well, you didn't say eternal life in prison. What the? I mean, what the hell is the advantage over, like, solitary confinement in heaven? I mean, how is heaven better? There's Pie Day? All you can eat pie day? Is that what makes heaven better? I don't get it. It doesn't sound like any good time to me. So anyway, I mean, back to the point. I just don't think the Buddha guys are necessarily this meditation shit is all it's cracked up to be. It's not working. Surprisingly good. At least half this video will be okay. The rest of it I might be jumping around or something, but that's life. Are frozen in some idiotic position, because that's what this camera does. Anyway, yeah, but the real deal is what he's doing here. So let's see, the best bits. What the hell, best bits? Oh yeah, the best bits. That was the VR thing. All right. Well, the real thing that was sort of interesting is that it's a sort of a point I've made that having kids is morally a significant act as going out and killing somebody. I mean, it's pretty much the same difference. You're going to impose your judgments on somebody else, and their welfare is going to be dependent on what you did, whether it was good for them or bad for them. And it's decisive. Here it is. It's imposed. Yeah, but somehow society doesn't even come close to having any kind of proportional weight placed on these two decisions. One of them is absolutely verboten, and the other one is subsidized. And you're saying, shouldn't people be talking about that more then? Yeah. So I mean, that it is sort of this just demonstrates how retarded the conversation is, because no one's dealing with the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is you can't. You say it in your video. You said in one of the other videos, like, well, people can do what they want, but I think, or something like that. And you can't really do that, can you? I mean, there's a point where you're either going to stop rape or you're not going to stop rape, and there's a point where you're a Professor Anton or you're a decent human being. There's a point where you say it's wrong, all right? And yeah, I think there's we're past the point on that in a lot of these respects. If you're gonna have kids, I don't think it's too big, it's too much to ask for you to come up with a statement explaining what good you think it's going to accomplish besides satisfying your own needs. And if you're just satisfying your own needs, that's bullshit. You're just satisfying some philosophical notion where you just say, I think life is good. I can't really explain how it's good, but I just think it is. Well, then you might have to go back to the school, or back to the find the better jargon, and do better than that, because that's not good enough to impose on somebody else. Yeah, I didn't put that as well as I wanted to. Let's see if I can do something with it. Yeah, no, nothing's happening in the brain. tired. Let's see. Kill it to prove they are right. Oh yeah, Professor Anton said that in one of his videos. He did, he talked about people and their beliefs, and somehow they, like I think he was implying that like Muslims fly airplanes into buildings to prove they're right. No, they're doing it because they think they're right. They don't do it to prove they're right. It doesn't prove they're right. But just a demonstration of their confidence. But let's not even use that as an example, because we know that's more of a political act, and so they know it's right to kill Americans because Americans suck. So that you can't even argue with. Whether they're going to, whether Allah is going to take care of them is a whole other subject. But I don't think any of these guys did that for Allah. I mean, I really think they did it because they basically considered us, as good as evil gets on planet Earth, and felt kind of proud to be able to take some of us out. Payback and all that kind of shit. I mean, I don't think kamikaze pilots had to be thinking about any kind of personal gain, beyond the fact that maybe the people they care about would do better with them dead than alive, or something like that. Like they could bestow great honor on their family, and they'd be, they see use and purpose in that. Let me think. But yeah, but there's a point where you got to pick one of the sides, right? You can't just sit back and say, okay, I'm going to let rapists decide to rape. I mean, it's their, maybe they think it's productive and blah 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 and blah blah. No, you got to say no. You can't do that anymore. And there's a point where you got to get off the fence and say, is it appropriate to risk the potential for having some little baby Frankenstein, a little monster who won't appreciate you doing it, won't say thank you for the gift of living in mediocrity, and is there a point where that can be defined as a rightly defined, as not a justifiable imposition, and that you can't just walk by and say it's okay if they keep doing that forever? I don't think so. So yeah, I'm gonna try to stop them if I have to. Anyway, I have to. They won't listen to, hey, stop that, asshole, you don't have a right to do that. If they won't listen to that, then I guess you got to get more aggressive, right, eventually. Yeah. Alright, but there's this point where all this philosophy has to work towards getting done what needs doing. I mean, what needs doing is, this is not a good enough world we live in, and it needs fixing. And if everybody just sits around waiting for a fix that is perfect, it doesn't have any unpleasant short-term consequences, or it doesn't impose a short-term investment. It's almost like it's almost like making the world better, right? People don't want to pay taxes up front to make for a better future. Instead, they're mortgaging their kids' welfare. I mean, the preposterous irony of it. All this talk about giving a damn, and all this walking in the opposite direction. And I guess that's sort of what I'm saying is people can't keep saying they're an advocate for victims and that they're not for imposing on other people's rights, and yet they haven't given any rights to the non-existent who are going to be forced into existence by somebody's imposition. You can't say you can't defend liberty if you're going to defend the liberty of imposition. And it's clearly an imposition. And everybody just keeps running from that word, but it's clearly there. Alright, enough of a video. Well, it's the best I can do. Storage day. Yeah, it's still working. So, well, this is a maybe sometimes working camera. So I guess I can, I'll do something interesting with it, hopefully, with the weight. So it may not live long, but maybe it'll do something interesting. Slower. Yeah, movement is what tends to screw it up. Changes and feeling okay. Maybe just need to warm up. Yeah, it's like the old stuff. Anyway, in this video, till the next time and such.